Welcome, everybody, to what we believe is the real start of the fantasy football season here at Fantasy and Frames. You are watching the Dynasty 365 podcast. I'm your host, Jorge Edwards. With me, I got Justin Taylor and Aiden Weingartner, and we are going to do post NFL draft a rookie mock draft, PPR, Superflex, tight end premium, 1.5 points. This is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for landing spots. We've been waiting for it to see what's going to happen with these rookies and where they're going. And it basically is totally shaking up all of our rankings. But we're going to see what, the fallout is from the NFL draft after this. You like that? The new video, right? The new intro video. We got some new graphics going on here. It's
love it.
It's a brand new day, brand new season, 2025. Man, it is fantastic. For those of you who are in YouTube, feel free to jump in here. We already got some comments going. We got Jamie in the chat saying, "Hey, dudes, what's going on?" Let's try this new feature, the overlay. One second. Let's do this.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, look at that! You can see the whole chat up on the screen. Look at that.
About that, we'll do it the old-fashioned way for today's show, but just so we can keep things somewhat complicated. But we got Mike D in the chat. What's going on, yo? We got Brandon Hallam. He says, "Is Shador still on the board?" That's funny.
Well,
feels like it.
Vince down in Australia. Good day, legends. Good day to you. You got Joe Harlow here. What's up, fellas? Let's draft. Got Kyle Ziegler here. Let's do this. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I think we should give the people what they want, shouldn't we, guys?
Why not? Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's check the draft. Make sure. Hopefully, we got everybody in there.
Yep. Let me take.
Filled up pretty quickly. It looked like.
Yeah, we did a good job getting ready. Let me take this comment off the screen. All right. Well, we're going to do a 4-round, like I said, super flex rookie mock on offense only. PPR, tight end premium, 1.5.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. So that's something to definitely take into consideration. In terms of the tight end position, one of our newest writers, Joe Goodwin, he likes to go by the name of Goody, which you can find him at jgoody77 across all the social media platforms. He put out a TikTok and YouTube short last night, talking about his assessment of the tight end position in rookie drafts and where to take them and when to take them and when not to take them. So definitely head over to our YouTube channel, check out that short, or head over to our TikTok account and check it out. It's gotten, I think each of them has got close to 200 views in a short amount of time. So, Goody knows what he's talking about, so let's see what happens in this draft. All right, let me pull up the app on my phone because I don't like giving away what I'm doing on screen.
Just draft on screen.
All right, if we got everybody going, or everybody's there. That's really weird. Hold on.
As you're pulling it up, I'm like in 3 or 4 current drafts that have already started, and I'm a couple other mocks. It is wild how different the ADP is in Sleeper depending on what league you're in. Where guys ADP is and stuff is all over the board on different ones. Just a warning to anyone if you're getting ready to start a draft out there. Go through and look through and put people in your queue. Make sure you find guys, because I found some guys that were deep at the bottom of the list. There were guys that definitely should have been drafted in like the first 3 or 4 rounds, and they were at the very bottom of the list. So if you're looking through the ADP and stuff, make sure you're checking it all out before your draft starts.
Love it. All right, about to hit start mock draft. Dirty Jobs, aka Mike D, who's going to be one of our new DFS people here at Fantasy and Frames covering FanDuel, is starting off here, starting the mock draft now, and we are off, ladies and gentlemen. 60-second timer per pick, but we all know you all are pros watching this. You don't need 60 seconds unless you're trying to play the let's annoy the fuck out of the neighbors game, which I hope you're not, but let's find out. JT, you're so good at calling the draft. Why don't you?
We got Ashton Jeanty off the board at 101. I was up at 102. I'm taking Travis Hunter. Mario Hampton, I know, is a big one there. If you need quarterback, Cam Ward would be a big one. I love Travis Hunter. I'm taking Travis Hunter at 102. I think he's going to be special.
Nice. We got Father Dynasty. He is not in the draft room.
Here he is. We got a green dot.
Green dot. Saved by the green dot.
It's got in and out. Let's hope we got.
And he's back again.
He's back.
He's gone. He's back. He's gone. He's back. Like, what the hell is going on?
I always hate when I just notice a draft started and I'm out there. Boom! Look at that, making the pick. Great job,
Cam Ward. Love it. Okay.
I took my first Cam Ward in the league today.
Did you?
At the 103, I was quarterback desperate in a super flex with only Joe Burrow as my starter. I took Cam Ward at 1-3.
Man, this is a tough decision for me right here.
Talent.
So after we got Cam Ward going off the board at 3, number 4, Mario Hampton, running back Chargers, number 5, 105, Travion Henderson. New England Patriots running back. Saw a picture with him in the old school Pats jersey and the number 32 the other day on I think it was on Twitter or Instagram. Looks sharp. Jorge is going to go with Tet Taroa. I always call him Tet McMillan, and then he said in a press conference he doesn't like Tet. So Taroa McMillan 1-6, and now we're at the 107. We got Holler, my buddy Holler. I know he's got a show starting soon. So we'll see if he's able to jump on and actually put his pick in or not. I misput what time the draft was starting. I think I put it an hour earlier in the Discord.
You central people.
So I messed up with the central time. I messed it up with the central time. I put central and I meant to say that was Eastern. I screwed it all up. So there's a chance that he gets autoed here.
You know what? It happens. Not every mock draft is perfect. We just roll with it. I think everybody in the draft room right now is pretty good at navigating these waters, so not a problem at all. And for everybody who's watching us, or just started to watch us here, this is our season premiere of the 2025 season, so to speak. We've been doing off-season content, but now it's the real part of the season. So everybody who's watching on X or on YouTube, thank you very much. Give us a follow if you don't mind, and subscribe to the Dynasty 365 podcast, rate, review, and let us know what the heck is going on.
This is tight end premium, right?
This is tight end premium.
So super flex, 1 PPR, 1.5 tight end premium. Quinshot Judkins goes off at 1.7, and then Aiden takes Tyler Warren here at 1.8.
We got Caleb Johnson going.
We got people ready. Vince jumping in there, getting Colson Loveland. Love it. At 110, now we're on the 111 and 112 come to the turn. This has kind of been where I've seen a lot of different picks in my draft so far. Is this 1-9, 110, 111, 112 range?
Right.
Kind of seeing where people jump off. Emeka Ibuka coming off at 111, and then Matthew Golden finished up the first round at the 112. Headed back to the beginning of the round. Oh, dirty job stealing my guy. I wanted Luther to get to me. Luther is my boy there. No Luther for me. So I'm going to go my next guy that I love at wide receiver, and that's Trey Harris, Ole Miss wide receiver now with the Chargers. I think an absolute fantastic landing spot for him. I'm on Trey Harris there at the 2-2. Luther Burden, nice job, dirty job stealing him at 2-1. I was praying he'd get me at 2-2.
Man, so we got a couple of people in the chat. So Jamie's asking if this is a Dynasty League. I'm sorry, this is not the right question. He says if your Dynasty League has IDP, is Hunter worth thinking about at the 101? Absolutely. With wide receiver and cornerback or defensive back points going towards you, hells yeah.
In our Fantasy and Frames IDP League, Jorge, I actually took Hunter at 101, even though I needed Jeanty, I needed running back bad. Hunter was too good to pass up. I took him at 101 in our IDP league
because I got Gianti. So.
And then Aiden, I just handed him to you, so you're lucky there. I handed him to you. You're welcome. You're gonna owe me for that. After Trey Harris, I took him at 202. RJ Harvey comes off the board at 203. Jaden Higgins then from Houston at wide receiver at 204. Then we get a QB run here with Jackson Dart for the Giants, 205. And then Jalen Milroe, 206 to Seattle. And now Jack Betch, 207 Vegas goes to holler, and now we're Aiden back on the clock here at the 2:08. Jorge, what do you think about the Jalen Milroe pick here in the middle of the second round? I had a league where I've got every Seattle quarterback but him. I have Locke. I've got Darnold, and I got to the late second. It was like 210 in a 14-team league, and I felt like I just had to take Milroe for the future on a team that's kind of rebuilding. I don't love Milroe, but I thought he was worth the upside. What do you think about him? This is the earliest I've seen him go here at 2.6.
Right. So that was me. So I took him there just because one of the superflex nature. Two is the fact that we saw in the draft they started to rebuild that offensive line. I don't think they're planning for Sam Darnold to be the long-term answer there. The draft capital was very surprising. I did not expect them to see him go that early. But even if he ends up starting in a year or two, if the offensive line has been rebuilt, then, oh my God, he actually gets an opportunity to actually throw behind a decent offensive line versus like at Alabama, like he was constantly running for his life. If the offensive line in Seattle is not that great in a couple of years and, they start Jalen Milroe, guess what? He can run around and get your fantasy points. So either way, it's a win-win.
Yeah, I like it. I Milroe, it just, especially if I'm on like a rebuild team, I feel like Milroe, or if I have Darnold as a starter, I like Milroe, build with him. I like where your head's at on that. Aiden took Cam Scatterboo at 208, Alec Amenyora at 2.9. Then we got Mason Taylor at 210 to Vince, doubling up on tight ends. Love it. Tyler Shaw, 211, the quarterback for the Saints. And then Shedeur Sanders, 212 for the Cleveland Browns. Got him there, and then we're back to start. It's up me now here as Jalen Newell. I love that pick. That's 301. Now I got to figure out who I'm taking here.
This is a tough one. So, I mean, a lot of these players, as we get into the later rounds, to a certain degree, you're counting on upside and landing spot. Obviously, talent plays a huge role. I think you're. I want to say for rookie drafts, you really have to go off of talent. If you want the long-term success, if you want the immediate success, that's where landing spot factors in a little bit more. So something to take into account when you're doing your rookie drafts now that the NFL draft is over. But there are a lot of good pieces on the board still, people that definitely have the opportunity to be contributors. There are a couple people that I'm targeting. Hopefully they don't get sniped from me, but given how life works, they probably will in some capacity. So we will see. We will see.
Yep, I jumped on it. 3 took Elijah Arroyo, Seattle tight end. Been banged up, a little bit injured in his college career, but a guy that was a stud coming out of high school, had a really good year last year, was finally healthy with Miami and Cam Ward. I think he's going to eventually take over. If it's not this year, next year for Seattle with that tight end spot. He's just a big play guy. He can go downfield. He can beat everybody deep. I love the athleticism. If I have some time here, I need something to do, I'll jump in. So I took Arroyo as a guy I think that could be hit by next year.
That's a good one. I love that.
Right after me at 3-3, Terrence Ferguson went. Then Kyle Williams, New England, 3-4, and then Brayshaw Tootin at 3-5. Jorge, that's one of your guys, so he snagged him from you. Now you got to think about it. Now it's decision time.
Yeah, no, it definitely is decision time. And while I'm deciding something, I bought this device to help with my audio. People in the chat, tell me if I'm sounding pristine, crystal clear, because this is kind of working, but then it stops working, and I was going to put it in the box, and my dog right now is on the floor, and this is what happened to the box. So fantastic.
Can't leave anything laying around with the pets. They just get after it. So this is kind of where I've seen a big tier break in a lot of drafts, like kind of that mid-second. And then when you get to that mid-third is where you start seeing some of the super high-end guys coming off the board, and where you're seeing a lot more people starting to go where they feel like they got a guy they want to back up, depending on who they took early. Maybe that's changing their decision-making here. And Jorge is going here with Jaden Blue, running back Dallas.
I just feel like, he automatically is the default best running back in the Dallas Cowboys running back room. Javonte Williams is not the answer. Miles Sanders is not the answer. And Blue is very, one of the really good elusive running backs. It's a deep cut at this point. There are other players that are on better offenses but I just feel like blue has a lot of upside and can contribute pretty quickly.
And then our buddy Jonathan Holler, he jumped back in, said, sorry, guys, got busy doing something else. He got put on auto. He jumps in and gets Jaquez Hunter, running back out of Auburn in the third. He says he loves him. I actually agree. It's a very interesting spot, him going to the Rams, as he seems like a very similar player to the two guys that got in front of him. But I don't know if he can't steal that job eventually. It's very interesting to see what the Rams think about, if we ever get their heads up on why they took him, because I think it's a very interesting thing. Devin Neal's a guy. Aiden takes him here. Went later than I thought. I can't believe he dropped to the 6th round. I really can't. It shocked me. I like the landing spot in New Orleans. I'm still a little bit nervous because of the fact that he didn't go to the 6th round, but man, it's hard for me to pass on him still in fantasy drafts.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Pat Bryant out of Illinois, one of my guys, ILL, going to the Broncos, 3-9. I think that's a great spot, a 3rd-round pick, maybe a little higher than some people thought in the actual draft, but I like that landing spot for him. They like big, tall, lanky receivers there. I just think Bryant could be nice in that offense.
I am kicking myself now because I was all aboard the Pat Bryant bandwagon and sleeper for, have these positions. They don't break it down by position. So you have to like literally scour the entire list of rookies, fix that sleeper.
There's an issue with the mocks. You can get it. You have to do a couple toggles. It's weird because I've done a couple where I couldn't figure out how to get in position. And somebody else was like, oh, you got to do this, this, and this. And then it will do the positions. I was like, oh, dang. I was like, I wish I would have realized that in the first place. And you got to love it. Vince coming back in, going heavy tight ends with Harold Fannin, 3 straight tight ends for Vince in this draft. Yeah. Love it.
He's like, I want all the tenant. I want all the premium. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, you are getting
I feel like I'm drafting with John McGlynn. He's always at the end of the round taking all the tight ends. He's always on the tight ends.
Nice. For those who are in the draft and also participating in the YouTube or Twitter chat, let us know what you're thinking so far. I know this is a 4-round rookie mock, but give us some thoughts. Give us, who do you think are reaches, who are not? Obviously, as we get into the late 2nd, early 3rd, and I guess the rest of the 3rd, we're starting to get into some thin territory for most drafters. I know a lot of the Dynasty Degens could probably go 12 rounds and be like, yep, I'll pick everybody. I'll take the 7th running back from Minnesota because I've watched 1,000 hours of film like JT does, and I know everything about them. So
then we had Samson go, running back for Cleveland. Then we had Brashard Smith, running back Kansas City at 3-12. Then to start the 4th round, Dylan Gabriel 4-1. Now I'm on the clock here at 4-2. Usually you get the 4th round and everybody's like, oh man, there's nobody left. I don't like any of these guys. The problem for me is I like everybody. I like all these. There's so many guys I still like in the 4th round. I'm jumping in on Woody Marks. He was a guy I liked pre-draft. And he is a guy I've gotten a few times, but man, I've got snaked on him so many times in the 4th round. So I'll take him at 4-2. Will Howard going at 4-3. Steelers quarterback. Let's see what he has a shot to make it up the depth chart. Toriel is a guy, and Horton is a guy that is starting to really pick up some steam in drafts. I've seen him moving up. He's all the way up now to 4-4. Seattle wide receiver. I like that pick there. Now we got Canes on the clock here.
Who's he gonna take? Vince says, "I still got 8 in my queue. I can still go another 8 rounds." I love it.
That's right. Hey, Jorge, we had Jamie jumped up here in the chat. He's got our fix for us for the future for new shows. He says all you need to do is set it for 1 QB, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end. So I don't think you actually have to take those guys, but I think if you put it for 1, then it will split them up into that. So thank you, Jamie. Nice little heads up there. I know I looked at that one time and I didn't, and I wasn't sure if it was going to make you have to draft 1 at every position.
That's what I was worried about. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to increase the number of rounds, that we were participating in. So that was my concern. But thank you, Jamie. Good to know. We will definitely be doing another one of these. Obviously, this is, this is rookie season. This is rookie mock season. I think I saw Sleeper put out a tweet or whatever they're calling it now. I guess messages or postings now. Which, by the way, if you're on Blue Sky, do you know that they don't call them tweets? They call them skeets. I think that is hilarious.
What?
If you are a Little
That is
John fan,
awesome.
I said some skeets over on the Blue Sky. I mean, just amazing stuff.
So we've got DJ Giddens, Colts backup running back at 4.5. Jordan James, San Francisco at 4.6. He's a running back. Isaac Tesla, Detroit wide receiver, going 4.7. Then we got Jalen Royals, Kansas City wide receiver. Aiden takes him at 4.8. And now we've got our last 4 picks of the draft here. And then we can discuss. We'll talk about our favorite picks, some surprises. Everybody in the chat, feel free to jump in and tell us what you liked, you didn't like. And we can even talk about a few guys that didn't get drafted in this that are kind of maybe some sleepers that we like if you're in some deeper leagues.
Love it. Yeah, so let's see who we got here. Got DJ Styles. That is our own guy, Kyle Ziegler. What's going on, Kyle? Welcome back. We've missed you. So glad that you are participating in the mock, and hopefully we can get you on some shows going forward. One of the family members here at Fantasy and Frames. So yeah, let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Vince went with Ollie Gordon. Where's Erica Brown when we need her in the chat? A huge Oklahoma State fan and Ollie Gordon.
Could have finished out with Gunnar Helm. Could have done it and just taken all 4 tight ends, but I love it. Ty Felton, wide receiver from Minnesota. Goes 4.9. Ollie Gordon, running back Miami 4.10. Gunnar Helm, tight end, Tennessee. Went to Texas, now plays for Tennessee. Thank you. 4.11. And then finishing it off, Xavier Restrepo, wide receiver, Tennessee, going 4.12. What do you think, Jorge? Let's jump back in this thing and go over and see what we like, we don't like.
Yeah. So right now I hate you. And let's see who else I hate. I hate Gaines. Not a fan of you. Oh, I really don't like you. Let's see here. I like Aiden. You're okay.
Thank you.
Kyle, DJ Styles 02. I hate you. I just said welcome back, but no, it's straight.
Welcome back, by the way.
Welcome back. I hate you. That's a great one. And you look at, I shouldn't like Ethan's draft, even though 1, he's auto drafting. 2, Egbuka, I like that pick, but then Tyler Show, is it Shuck or is it Show? Shuck. Okay, that's what I thought. It just feels all sorts of dirty that the Saints took him. Like I don't want any part of that. I do like what is his name? It's the last guy. Semtex Mex. Okay, yes, that's I don't hate him as much, but really Kyle with Caleb Johnson, Arroyo, Pat Bryant, Felton. That is fantastic. I love that. Yeah, no, all these guys.
Holler pull up here. He says Dart going a little late. I feel 2.5 does seem late in a super flex league for a guy that a team traded up to the first round for. Now, does he start year 1 with Winston and Russell Wilson there? Maybe not, but I would be shocked. Somebody's going to get an absolute steal if you get Jackson Dart in the mid-second round in a super flex draft. I totally agree with Holler on that one.
Got Charlene Lovett. Charlene, you are awesome. You get my sense of humor. You are fantastic. This is great. Kyle talking trash takes about. Of course you would. Kyle. Yeah.
Jorge,
so JT, who do you like? Which teams do you like, JT?
Yeah, so kind of looking through here, because what I've been trying to really look is where guys are going, depending on my leagues. I'm in too many leagues, so I'm trying to get usually a good variety of where I can maybe get a guy, maybe I can't get a guy. Obviously, every league's a little bit different. As far as I'm seeing, the top 8 have been pretty consistent, just depending on what order you go in and what team needs are. But those feel pretty consistent. I feel like the first real off the ball, got to figure out what people are doing, is that into that first round with who's going to be the first guy to take tight end. Is it Warren? Is it Loveland? Caleb Johnson's been a little bit of a sticking point for some people, whether he goes right in that top 10, or if he's at the end of the first, beginning of the second. Matthew Golden, Abuka, and Luther Burden all have kind of been in that mid, like late-ish first to beginning of second. I've seen, Luther Burden 110 all the way to, 203. So I've kind of seen that in there, and I've seen kind of Emeka Buka and Golden kind of in that same range. RJ Harvey right now is a real interesting one. He ran a 2.3 in this draft. I've seen him right with the Caleb Johnson in my last couple of drafts I've been in. Both of those guys have kind of been in that 1.8 to 1.10 range. So if you get RJ Harvey in the second round, I think that's pretty nice. Also, Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, along with Burden and Golden and Abuka, kind of been that next tier guys. I've seen them pretty much that early part of that round. I'm wondering on some of these about these quarterbacks. I've seen them go a little bit later because when I've actually seen them in drafts, they've gone earlier. I'm wondering if a lot of people are just kind of wait on QB in a mock, but like when they get desperate, like they're like looking at their team and they're like, oh man, am I going to pass on a QB? I think that's where I've seen a lot of variance. Cam Ward's pretty much been consistently in the top 4, but I've seen a ton of variance between Dart, Milroe, Shuck, Sanders, all those guys.
We got a comment here from Andrea. What's going on, Andrea? Welcome to the show. She says she doesn't have a first round pick in my Superflex Dynasty. That's okay. Here's a worse story than that. In one of my leagues, I traded, I want to say at the beginning of last year, the beginning of the last season, I traded my first round pick for this year to somebody, and it ended up being the 102. So because of the trade I made last year, missed out on the 102 this year. So you're not in the bad.
You want to hear another story?
I feel your pain is basically what I'm trying to say. What's going on, Aiden?
You want to hear another story? A few years ago, this was when Stefon Diggs was still like huge on the Bills, and obviously me being a Bills fan, I traded a 2023 first rounder and 2024 first rounder for Stefon Diggs. Not a good call, probably, but whatever.
We are all guilty of the occasional, holy crap, what was I thinking move. Aiden, which drafts do you like out of people's drafts do you like out of here? It's okay to tell them you hate them. It's fine.
No. I was looking this over. So
I like trying to be nice for it.
Yeah, I was looking this over. I can't. Is his name Father Time or something? Anyway, Cam Ward, the stack of Cam Ward, RJ Harvey, Terrence Ferguson, and Will Howard. I think Will Howard is a great shot to take late. I think he'll beat out Mason Rudolph personally pretty easily. And then Cam Ward, obviously, QB1. And then I just love, like JT alluded to, RJ Harvey's a value in the second round anywhere. And 2, I just love his fit with Sean Payton as that workhorse back. And then Terrence Ferguson, man, and that high-powered Rams offense, I like it for this year and beyond. I mean, I just love the picks. I love the 2 fits with Harvey and Ferguson mainly.
So let me bring up a point in this draft and kind of pose some alternatives in terms of like ways of thinking. We saw Tyler Warren and Loveland go in the first round. Obviously, tight end premium plays a huge role, but even in non-tight end premium rookie drafts, we're still seeing, at least I'm seeing, those 2 going in the back end of the first round. And again, going back to Joe Goodwin's, short videos that he's put on YouTube and on TikTok over at the Fantasy and Frames account, he was mentioning, like these are guys who are great, but you could pass on them, in the first round and get somebody else, get a running back or a wide receiver, and you could pick up in the later rounds Elijah Arroyo. So, he's not going to be, he could be very well in line for, a good target share in Seattle. You mentioned Terrence Ferguson. We talk about Mason Taylor at the Jets. Sorry, Stone Smart truthers. Don't get me wrong. I love Stone Smart. I want him to score touchdowns.
Jeremy Rucker.
So it's one of those things where, like, in hindsight, I wonder, Aiden, if you would have thought, let me go take these tight ends in the further round, or were you dead set with Warren, and why?
So going back, I would probably take Loveland first, just because he has a QB and the other one doesn't. But I think the tight end premium really played a factor when I was asking you guys. I think in a regular Superflex, I would pass up. But since we set the parameters of tight end premium, I felt like I had to get those guys to start off, if that makes sense.
No, that's totally.
Or hey, I was going to say, some of these times I want to look at these drafts, not necessarily what someone did overall, because obviously you're not going to know what some of his teams looks like, but I'm looking at maybe different draft strategies when I'm looking at this. So Aiden is a good example. I have a couple teams, like somebody said earlier, they don't have a first round pick and they're super flex. I'm in a couple leagues where I didn't have a first round pick. I was pretty desperate for running backs, but I was like a little bit later in the draft. I was an older team, kind of sold off some pieces, trying to figure out where to fit in. And that's kind of where I was like trying to do the math. Where can I get a running back? So I think we've seen it. The drafts that I've done now, I thought the second round before the draft happened, I thought the second round was going to be loaded with running backs. Everybody was just going to take running back in the second round. That really hasn't happened in a lot of the drafts I've seen. It's been heavy first round running backs and then heavy third round running backs. And everything in the second round has been much more wide receiver, tight end, quarterback based in this. So that's something to think about, because I originally went in, I was like, oh, okay, I've got no second rounder or no first rounder. I'm just going to load up second, third, fourth round running backs. And then I realized like there weren't a lot of second round options. So I've gotten Cam Scattaboo right around 2.8, 2.7, 2.6 in a few leagues. But outside of him, if you're missing him in the late second round and you were looking to go running back second round, you're pretty much waiting till the third, and you're going after guys like Tootin Blue, Hunter, Neal, Sampson, Brashard Smith, Willie Marks. And again, that's a really big group altogether, and it completely depends on who's in your league and who they like. Because I've seen every one of those guys go in a different order. So I don't think there's a really big consensus on that like third tier of running backs. There's not a big consensus on like what order those guys are going in. So that's something to think about going into your rookie drafts here, is like kind of where are some of these guys going? Same thing on tight end. We talked about a little bit earlier. If you do pass on tight end, I've had some leagues that were some premiums. I was pretty desperate to get a new tight end, and I had to kind of make a decision. Am I taking tight end in the first round, or I'm going to wait and see if I can get a guy later? I have had a fairly good luck. If I skip Warner Loveland in the first round, able to grab either Mason Taylor, Arroyo, or Ferguson late second or early third to mid third round.
I love Ferguson's fit at the Rams. Like, I just over the moon about that.
And I've been back. I took Arroyo at 3.2 and Ferguson went 3.3. I will be honest. Somebody asked me the other day on Twitter, and I was like, hey, I've been really jumping back and forth between those two guys about 50-50. 50% of the time I take Ferguson, 50% of the time I'm taking Arroyo first. So it just kind of depends. Sometimes it depends on my team makeup, exactly who I have, who are my QBs. I'm one of those suckers that, like, if I got Matt Stafford, I'm definitely taking Ferguson. If I've got Darnold, I'm taking Arroyo because I want the stack. I know some people would rather not do that because they're like, oh, I don't want to tie that guy to that guy in case it doesn't happen. But I definitely, if you do not get tight end early and you still need tight end, I'm looking at end of that second, early to mid third is where you can get those other guys typically.
I would even make a case, like, this might sound crazy because he went like 5 picks earlier. I would even make it think about Ferguson over Mason Taylor, making an argument there just because I love the fit so much with the Rams.
I think people that do that. Don't you think, Jorge? I've seen people take Ferguson over Taylor. For me, I'm a Taylor guy, so I've been taking him first just because he was my tight end 3. But there's a real opportunity that Ferguson gets on the field right away and Taylor has to work his way onto the field a bit. So if you're looking for immediate help, Ferguson out of that group is probably your guy. If you need somebody, you're like, hey, I need someone that's probably going to play a lot this year, Ferguson's probably your guy. Mason Taylor, possibly Arroyo, he was healthy last year. He's been not healthy in the past. How far behind is he when he gets into camp? Is he a guy that like immediately steps in and can play, or do you think, hey, they work him into the system behind Fant, and then year 2 it's all systems go for Arroyo?
Yes, I think what you just said, the latter part. I think Arroyo has a real good opportunity. We were doing the tight end breakdown on our previous shows leading up to the draft. Like, one of the things we talked about when looking at Warren compared to Arroyo is that both of these guys, massive human beings. Difference being really Warren has more yards after the catch ability and breakaway runs in that regard. Arroyo is more of like a big body, catch it, and then is brought down immediately. So he's not going to like stretch the field, so to speak, past his average depth of target. But that being the case, I'm not a big Noah Fant fan. If that was going to work, if he was going to work as a fantasy option, it would have worked like 3 years ago. It hasn't been. Arroyo is definitely the one that has more upside here. But Aiden, I do like your talk about Ferguson going to that Rams offense. It just makes a lot of sense there. A lot of I agree with you there. But for me, I'm really high on Arroyo, and for me, if I was outside of Warren. Let me take that back. I agree with you also, Aiden. Outside of Loveland, I would have waited until the later rounds to get Arroyo versus having to feel like I needed to get Tyler Warren. We got a couple things here in the chat I want to bring up real quickly. We got Big Rice Ball only running one mock today. For offense, yes. On Shoot the Gap, which is our IDP Fantasy Football show we have next, we'll be doing a little modified mock, a little different way of running a mock draft, which we'll tell you about there. All rookie IDP. And of course, we'll be doing and running mocks throughout the rest of the month of May and June, and just getting you ready, getting you ready for your drafts. I know people in different leagues start their rookie drafts at different times. A lot of mine started, on Monday. So some of yours may not start until June. So
I have one in July.
Okay, wow, you're one of those. Okay,
I would have had it sooner, but it's not up to me. So.
Fair enough. We got Kyle in the chat. Speaking of you, he says, "Why do I agree with Aiden so damn much? I hate that." Well,
I'm gonna message him after. I'll let him know.
That's funny. So this is a great question here again from Big Rice Ball. Isn't it kind of hard to pick a best rookie draft without seeing the rest of the team, unless we're just thinking about best value? Yes. To answer your question, that latter part is spot on with what you're talking about. Again, we have landing spots here. We're not just talking about athleticism and previous college performance. Like, now we know where all that's being funneled into. So yes, we are talking about the value of where you're getting these players on top of their upside based off of the research that we've done on them at nauseum, it feels like. But but great question there. I love that. We got Kyle again back in the chat saying, Aranda Gatson, how do you all feel about him on the Chargers? Nice sleeper in his opinion.
I love it. Love the fit.
All right. Tell us why, Aiden.
Yeah, Aiden. Start it off, and then I'm going to rant on him for a minute.
So I will preface this with, like, Tyler Conklin and Will Dissly are two veterans they seem to really like, but they're in contract years, 1-year deals each, respectively. So this is more of a 2026 and beyond thing. But if you can get Gas in the 4th, maybe even 5th round somehow, I am absolutely investing in that with a Justin Herbert-led offense. Like JT, we've talked about so far. I can't remember what you think about Gadsden, but if I recall, you love him as well. So, and I just really, really love this fit. And I think in 2 to 3 years, this could really pay off. And you look back and like, how in the heck did I get him in the 4th and 5th round of rookie drafts?
Yeah, I agree with you. I have to be honest. I took Woody Marks at 4-2. Gaston was the other guy I was looking at. If I wouldn't have taken Arroyo before, I would take Gaston. And if I say I'm in a league where I need a tight end, or I'm looking for some upside tight end in the help in the future in a bigger tight end premium league, Gaston I'm absolutely taking in the 4th round.
Me too.
So if you're waiting to get him in the 5th, I hate to tell you, he's not getting there.
No,
he's not getting there. You have to take him in the 4th round. And typically he's been going early 4th. I love the fit. Honestly, watching the draft, if you watch our draft coverage show, we didn't get to him because we cut out on the show before he actually got drafted. But I said afterwards, my absolute perfect landing spot for Gaston would have been the Chargers. If they don't take Loveland, they don't take Warren, anybody like that early, and they wait on tight end, I think he's a great fit there. Does he hit right off the bat? Probably not with some of those Disley and Conklin, some of those other older guys they have. But man, I like this Chargers
Yeah.
offense. I like what they're doing, and I think they're going to use him in a lot of different ways. Man, he reminds me, and again, this is me just throwing this out there as body style, what he could do. Antonio Gates, like he could be that type of guy eventually in his career. Now, can he have an Antonio Gates career? That is absolutely insane to like compare that. But I just think if they can figure out ways to use him in that type of way, he's got a big body. He's 245. Honestly, a guy that people kind of thought was more of a wide receiver early in his career at Syracuse. I was shocked when he weighed in at 245. I thought for sure he's going to be closer to like 228, 230. And he was just going to be so undersized and no one was going to take him as a tight end. They were like, oh, he's like a big wide receiver. What are we going to do with him? But he was like 243, 245. He was the number one wide receiver for Syracuse the last couple of years, had an injury-plagued year where he missed almost the whole season. But man, I just think this is a nice fit. There was a quote out there from Jim Harbaugh that says, he's like, man, we're so pumped to have you. We have packages ready for you. Like they wanted him bad. I think they're going to figure out a way to fit him in. The fact that he went in the 5th round, obviously usually a 5th rounder is a guy that is typically going to be almost a throwaway for most part and relative to NFL and then also for fantasy. But I think Gaston with his skill set, I think the Chargers are a perfect landing spot. I'm willing to take the shot. There's a chance he ends up doing nothing ever in his career. But if I'm taking a high upside guy in the 4th round in my fantasy drafts, especially tight end premium, Gas is the guy I want. I feel like I've talked about him too much because now I can't get him in any of my leagues because everyone's taking him. So I'm going to have to start bumping it up and getting him a little earlier.
He's going to get one. He's going to get those cheap big slot targets, and 2, he's going to get the occasional backfield touches as well, which is very capable of on screens and whatnot.
Kyle in the chat says he almost took him at the 409, but he didn't want to get grilled by Aldo. No, stand your ground.
409 would have been great. Like I said, I almost took him 402. It was literally Marks and him, and I was like, oh, if I would have went running back instead of Arroyo just for the draft purposes, I would have taken Gasson for sure at 402. But Woody Marks was sitting there. I love Woody Marks. I wanted to talk about him a bit because he's probably my favorite 4th round pick as if you're going running back right now. But I have to be honest, when Gunnar Helm went, I was a little shocked that wasn't Gadsden. To be honest with you, I thought for sure Vince was going to take Gadsden and just finish it off with 4 tight ends and 3 of my favorite 4 tight ends in the draft.
No, I love it. Andrea says her draft is in May. Well, Andrea, you came to the right place because we're going to do our best to help you dominate your draft and walk out feeling like you are set up not only for this year, but for years in the future, as well as everybody else who's in the chat and participating and or just fans of the show and watching. Fantasy and Frames, we're going to start dropping tons of content, short video form, article form. Oh my God. I put the article plan for the summer in our Fantasy and Frames private chat. And it basically is like, oh my God, there's a lot of articles coming our way over at fantasyandframes.com. So we got you covered, everybody. We got you covered. And of course, if you all ever have any questions, reach out to us. We're definitely here to help you out. We got Jamie in the chat stating, I got Gadsden off waivers today after the draft. Good man. Good job. That's what I'm talking about. This was a lot of fun, guys. Everybody participating. We really appreciate you. It feels great. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me because, we've been doing shows since February. And so, but for some reason now it feels real. Yeah, it feels real. Exactly, Aiden. It's a breath of fresh air. It feels real now. Gotta love it. But
now we're not just speculating anymore. Now we have actual stuff to talk about and teams to talk about and player landing spots to talk about.
That we do. So JT, before we get out of here, I need to ask you, and I think, the people need to know because, at this point we know who you are and we know how you are.
We know.
How many rookie drafts are you currently in right now?
I've got 4 underway with another 2 or 3 starting this weekend. And a few will go in a couple weeks. I got depending on what group I'm in, a lot of people want to wait till school gets out and they're done. And then we're post Labor Day, and so like it just depends on kind of where I'm at. But I had a last year, to be honest with you, Jorge. I told John McGlynn this. I was in a fantasy football draft from the day the draft was over, Sunday, the day after the draft ended. I was in a fantasy football draft, a rookie draft, a startup draft, a college draft, some kind of draft from the day the draft ended all the way up to the night before the first game of the NFL season.
Jeez,
Every
are
day I
people
was in a
paying
draft.
attention?
I would have been like, find somebody else. I can't do this.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
That's how many leagues I'm in. I was in that many leagues. Actually, I kind of looked out that a bunch of my leagues, they one or two people dropped and they didn't find somebody to replace very soon. And they ended up pushing off rookie drafts till like way later in the summer, which was actually kind of nice in some regards because like players went up or fell. But it was a full summer of drafting every day on my phone, paying attention and making sure I wasn't missing picks.
8-hour clock each time.
Oh my God, I don't. That you are a better man than I, better fantasy degenerate than I.
He is the fantasy degenerate.
And you could find him at JT Orange over on X, although I hate calling it X, so I'm still going to call it Twitter. You all feel me who know.
I always say Twitter, and then
me too. I haven't said X ever. So.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you guys. All right, well, that's going to conclude Dynasty 365 for this week. Did a little mock draft for you. We'll be back next week talking about some of the fallout from the NFL draft at various positions. You can also check out our articles where we're going to be talking about that as well. We're going to give you a little bit of information in the articles, a lot of information on the screen. So just wait. Our rankings are going to be updated over the weekend over at fantasyandframes.com. We've got a lot coming your way. We're super excited to help you all out. And, just thanks for watching. We got Shoot the Gap coming up at 9:00 Eastern, 8 p.m. Central for, you central people out there.
Boom. Messing that up. I always mess that up.
Yeah. But definitely looking forward to that rookie mock draft we're going to be doing there. So, for Aiden, before we get out of here, Aiden, what you got going on for the rest of the week?
Not much. I'm obviously we're in our FIF flow draft right now. And the rest of the week, I'm kind of just doing some more fantasy research, as I always do. And
Nice.
then I have a couple more rookie drafts starting up in the next week or two. And obviously, I'll be starting up the article content again once we coordinate that with everybody. And I really can't wait for that, as you said.
Nice. JT, what about you? What do you got going on the rest of the week?
Oh, I just been pumping out draft coverage, reactions from the draft. I just updated my top 25 IDP rookie rankings. Did that. I've got an article coming out on DLF on a 2-round mock draft. We might have some sneaky plays for you here in the next and Shoot the Gap. So I might give some stuff away for that article. So I've got some of my things from there. So I've been doing that. And, I do a lot of running back stuff. This was a great running back class. So I've got my post-draft grades coming out. I had my pre-draft grades where I think guys are going, where I draft them, where I grade them. And then now I got to go back, look at that, reevaluate, change my grades depending on where the drafts are. So all that stuff coming up, all kinds of things for me. And then, hey, I'm just going to be drafting every day, all day.
Always does.
Looking to make trades. So I've been throwing trades out and draft questions out on Discords and everywhere else. So feel free to jump in there, especially the Fantasy and Frames Dynasty Discord. Want to talk about who to draft where. If you got questions between this guy, that guy, we're jumping around in there and answering those questions.
Absolutely. I'm going to try and get another pair of overalls because these are just so damn comfortable.
God. The silk overalls.
The silk overalls, exactly, because that's exactly the mental image people need right now as they leave the show. No, come back. Seriously, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get silk overalls.
Please don't wear those on the show.
That is definitely going to be a private with the missus thing, although she probably doesn't want to see that either. So,
okay, time to go. Yep. Okay.
Aiden's like, I'm out of here. He's like, what are you doing?
I feel uncomfortable Oh,
No,
I mean,
I'm kidding. The audience was probably like, "What is this turned into?"
oh, just wait. We go off the rails so much more. Speaking of going off the rails so much more, tomorrow night, super excited. The draft show returns with Stacey Perez, Keith Fleming, Erica Brown, Kevin Tompkins. They're going to be doing their first Best Ball Mania 6 draft over on Underdog. As we know, these individuals give great fantasy advice, especially now they're giving best ball advice. But we also know from the Waiver Wire show last year that could get off the rails too. And yeah,
I'm gonna have to go back and watch those.
I'll send you the clips. They're pretty funny, but yeah.
Okay.
Anyhow, I digress. Everybody for watching, thank you so much. For Aiden, JT, I'm Jorge. We'll see you next week.